What it is, it's Pate here.
What's up? It's Chris here. So, anyways,
we're here to discuss with you what we believe to be the essential question in The Great Gatsby.
This early 20th century novel, written by Scott Fitzgerald, tells Gatsby through the eyes of Nick Carraway. Gatsby is an elite, wealthy, and successful man living in West Egg who throws extravagant parties and is a mystery to all.
Despite his lavish and luxurious lifestyle, he does not feel like he has everything he wants. It is the same with the other characters' lives as well. They live these lifestyles that people dream to have, but still greedily feel like they need more, resulting in many unfortunate things to take place. This leads us to begin to wonder, when is enough for the characters in The Great Gatsby? This question comes to light in a variety of occurrences throughout the story, such as when Myrtle was getting it on with Tommy Boy while he had a wife. Or when Gatsby was harassing Daisy, basically begging her to say that she never loved Tom in order to fulfill his fantasy that him and Daisy were meant for one another.
All these wealthy characters were not satisfied, wanting what they could not have. They wanted what belonged to others. Gatsby, despite having so much money, still wanted more. He wanted the love of a woman who was married. The wealthy Tom Buchanan was having an affair with Myrtle, a married woman. Daisy, wife to Tom Buchanan, wanted to create a new life with Jay Gatsby.
There was always something that each character wanted, and as a result they took whatever they wanted mindlessly and ultimately claimed it as their own, both overtly and covertly.
Their selfishness throughout the course of the novel was always at the expense of other characters. Their selfishness came with deep consequences. Nick Carraway asserts that it takes two people to make an accident, proving how it takes more than one person to do something morally incorrect.
An example of this is Tom's affair with Myrtle, which ended up with Myrtle realizing that she never loved George, which surprised Nick because when he first learned about the affair, he was like, "Cram!" And now, hearing Myrtle deny her love like she did on page 35 when she is at the party in the flat that she has in New York, where she said, "Who said I was crazy about him? I was never any more crazy about him than I was about that man there." She ends up trying to deny her love for George, which in turn objectifies her marriage with him, because she now has a lover who satisfies all of her desires.
And what is the consequence that Myrtle faces as a result of her selfish actions? She gets hit by a car and dies.
Awkward.
Gatsby is another perfect example of a person who has the world in their palms because of his massive wealth, yet who still wants more. Nick describes Gatsby's life as wondrous. His Rolls Royce became an omnibus bearing parties to and from the city between 9 in the morning and long past midnight. However, Nick Carraway notices that Gatsby talked a lot about the past and gathered that he wanted to recover something, some idea of himself perhaps that had gone into loving Daisy.
Gatsby has a strange fascination with time, and despite the fact that Gatsby had finally gotten the girl that he loved, he still wanted more from her. On page 132, the main characters are all in the suite at the Plaza Hotel, and Gatsby says, "Just tell him the truth, that you never loved him, and that it's all wiped out forever. You never loved him." He wanted her to admit that she never loved Tom in hopes of making it seem like they are back to where they left off. But he doesn't realize that time doesn't stop and can be reversed, which leaves him constantly trying to chase this fantasy that things will return back to the way that they were.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Daisy is also not as innocent as she may seem. She was aware of her husband's affair, which made her want to feel like she is loved. Gatsby was the perfect person for Daisy to satisfy her need. He had fallen head over heels for her, so she was able to both feel like she existed while simultaneously getting back at Tom.
It seems that each character is guilty of being selfish, whether it is for love, desire, happiness, or lust. Each character is guilty of wanting to satisfy their own selfish desires.
These characters are prime examples of American greed. They have it all and long for more.
There is no reason why each character is so selfish, but what can be inferred is that it must have something to do with their wealth. They have had everything that they wanted since they were kids, with the exception of Gatsby. And now all of these characters are wealthy adults that are pretty much living the American dream. But it seems like even the best life situation that you can be in just isn't enough for them.
So, to answer our essential question, enough is never enough for the characters in The Great Gatsby.
Time and time again, the characters display very selfish attributes of constantly wanting what belongs to others. Thanks for watching. It is the same with the other characters' lives as well. They live these stories, such as when Myrtle was getting it on with Tommy Boy. Okay, let me set up for it again. Basically, okay, when Gatsby was harassing
all these wealthy. Oh, sorry about that. Just a little. Sorry. Daisy, what did Tommy can? Morally incorrect. Don't you repeat that?
No, it's fine. I'm calling the police. And now I was never any more crazy about that man than I was about the man here. Oh, wait. I was never any more crazy about. Okay, let me say that again. Where she said, "Who said I was crazy about him? I was never any more crazy." Oh. Who said I was crazy about him? I was never any more crazy about that. Oh, Who said I was crazy about him?
Actions. She gets hit by a car and dies.
Awkward.
Gatsby.
But he doesn't realize. But he doesn't realize that. Oh my gosh. Okay. But he. Oh. Fuck.
I can read it.
Okay.
Where is it?
Isn't enough for them.
So, to answer our essential question. To answer. Oh my god, I can't say answer. So.
Daisy can never, right, Chris?
Yes. Are you gonna include that?